Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, June 8th, 2012. Thanks to my colleague Tom Bailey in London for handling the news the last 2 days. I was in Bermuda. We'll talk a little bit about that in the last story today. 2 big bomb blasts have occurred already today, and this is without the news from Syria coming in, which will undoubtedly also be bad. There was a bomb blast in northeastern Nigeria in Borno State in front of a police station, apparently big enough to have caused 3 vans to be filled with dead policemen carted away from the scene. The blast was apparently caused by the terror group Boko Haram, which began life as a reclusive clerical movement opposed to Western education in the country. It's now mushroomed into an advocate for seeking redistribution of Nigeria's oil wealth for the poor. It's gaining ground. And there was also an explosion in Peshawar, Pakistan today. A bus carrying government workers home from their jobs was targeted. 6.2 kilograms of explosives was apparently placed in the bus, killing at least 21 people. No claim of any responsibility. Well, this you could have predicted. The Japanese Prime Minister was on TV today pleading with the public to allow for the restart of 2 nuclear reactors. 2 nuclear reactors out in the western part of the country hopefully will be begun to operate again, according to Prime Minister Noda. Japan's nuclear industry has been completely cut down, shut off after the 9.0 earthquake, and the country is suffering a gigantic deficit right now insofar as electric power. Air conditioning is frequently turned off as we're entering the summer months. There's a 15% power deficit in the western part of the country as it is. Here's interesting news from Aon Benfield. The 2 earthquakes, the one big one in the aftershock that occurred in northern Italy last month, apparently are going to cause about $6.2 billion in economic damage. Italian officials have said that it's too early to provide an insured loss estimate, but if the Italian quake of 2009 is any guide, this is going to come in at about $300 million. Elsewhere, severe rainstorms in China in May caused about $2.7 billion in economic losses. There was also a spate of severe thunderstorms in Japan in May that is probably going to be greater than the $2.7 billion. And there was also a late month of May stretch of severe weather in Oklahoma that probably caused as much as $500 million in insured losses. Airline underwriters are facing what is likely to be the second $5 million loss of in about a month now. This is following the accident involving Dana Air's MD-83, which crashed in Lagos over the weekend. This is from an article by Christopher Monroe in Insurance Day. Reports indicate that the local Nigerian insurer Prestige Insurance held 30% of the Dana Air risk, while Aon's London-based aviation team was responsible for placing the 70% balance in the London market. Sources have told Mr. Monroe that the international part of the program was led by Beaufort Underwriting Agency's Pritchard Syndicate 318. Beaufort is part of the Munich Re Group. Prestige is a subsidiary of New India Insurance Company. Casualty figures for the accident stand at about 158 people. They're still looking for people on the ground. The whole claim is going to come in probably at about $4.5 million. Local reports indicate compensation to each of the victims' family will be a minimum of $100,000. That would put the insurance claims for casualty up to $16 million for liability, I should say. However, there were several Americans on board, so the $100,000 per victim figure will likely be far higher for them. Isn't that awful? On May 9th, a Sukhoi Superjet crashed, of course, in Indonesia. It's believed to have been completely placed within the Russian insurance market. There's a 50% chance that that boardroom coup at Generali in Trieste last weekend that took down Giovanni Perissinotto, the CEO, could result in a cut by Standard & Poor's of Generali's rating. Generali is currently rated as an A, and the downgrade would be that of a single notch. That could dramatically affect Generali's operating capability. A quarter-wide mile tornado cut through southeastern Wyoming, derailing empty railroad cars, damaging homes and leaving 1 person with minor injuries. This twister was part of a powerful storm system that rolled through Colorado and Wyoming last night. Fortunately, it was a pretty sparsely populated area. If that had come through a heavily populated area, that could have been big trouble. I mentioned that we were in Bermuda for the past 2 days. Things are beginning to happen in Bermuda. Bermuda now has around 20% of the global cat bond market and is well placed to claim a larger share amid rising demand. New laws have been placed in Bermuda allowing registration of cat bonds in the Bermuda market, the Bermuda Stock Exchange, to become much more effective and easy to do. Also in Bermuda, it seems as if finally the great convergence is beginning to occur between insurance-linked securities and traditional reinsurance underwriting. A number of well-established mechanisms have been set up in place. A number of very well-known companies have now been set up in place, operated by industry professionals who are going to be going out and have already to some measure achieved success in obtaining capital fund money to underwrite risk. This is the convergence that has been awaited since well before Hurricane Andrew. This time it looks like it may happen. There's a sense of vibrancy in Bermuda, a sense of expectation throughout Front Street and the other streets that finally the convergence is at hand and Bermuda is going to benefit from it. I would not bet against them. We'll be talking some more about this over the week, including with some of the interviews of the people that we met down there. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, especially anything happening in Syria, we'll come back and tell you. The economic news apparently is all uniformly bad, but you know about that already. You don't need to get that from us. Have a good weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Monday.